Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this series, we're going to be talking about Saturn, okay? Saturn in the houses, okay? And in this episode, we're going to be talking about Saturn in the 6th house, okay? Having your Saturn in your 6th house. And before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to check out my music video. If you enjoyed the intro in the beginning of this video, that's my music. And I have more in the description box below, so definitely check that out. I'll really appreciate it. But yes, Saturn in the 6th house, having Saturn in the 6th house. And before we get into that, let's just go over what Saturn is and what the 6th house is, okay? Saturn in astrology is the planet of discipline, responsibility, restriction, labor, work, building, okay? Saturn's gonna be the planet that puts a lot of obstacles, and a lot of times people have a bad relationship with Saturn because it can feel so stressful. But Saturn is here to build you, and it's here to build you the hard way. You know, we don't get success without hard work, okay? You know, I like to think of Saturn like the gym. You know, you go through all this stress, you stress your body out, you put it through all this pain, but you gain a lot. The rewards are so worth it, and that's how Saturn works. Saturn wants you to work hard, and then you get your rewards after, okay? So this isn't as terrible as you think, even though it is challenging, okay? Saturn also rules your career, okay? The big projects you're here to do in life, not just your 9-to-5 job, but the big projects, your big purpose. So Saturn will put you into management positions. Saturn will have you own your own business. Saturn will have you go and really construct your biggest dreams and make it and turn it into reality with hard work, okay? So Saturn rules your career as well too, all right? That is Saturn, the planet of discipline, responsibility. And then you have the 6th house, okay? The 6th house is ruled by Virgo. This is the house of routine, maintenance, okay? Our daily routines, the work we do. So this is your 9-to-5 job, okay? This is also cleaning up every time in the morning, how we take care of ourselves, the constant routines we do to keep up, washing, cleaning, keep ourselves together through repetitive routine. You know, you can think of like a farmer and how they have to get up every day and do all the chores, do all the certain things that they have to do to maintain the farm. This is the 6th house. Like, this is our lives. It's all the routines, the systems that we do to maintain ourselves. It also has to do with our physical health and how we maintain it. So our daily diets, what we're constantly eating all the time, the routine, you know, how we're taking care of ourselves. So it's going to represent our physical health as well too, okay? And it's also a very analytical house because you're dealing with, you know, the details of life and how you're keeping up with all the little details, because all the little details make up the bigger picture. All right, so with that being said, the first thing I can say with having Saturn in the 6th house is these people are workaholics, okay? Workaholics. This is a workaholic placement. Because Saturn is about work. Saturn's all about discipline. Saturn's going to give you lots of restrictions. And then the 6th house is also, again, ruled by Virgo, all about work, our 9-to-5s, our routines, what we're doing on a constant basis to keep up, to maintain our reality, our work, our job, our cleaning, our maintenance, all of that. So you put this strong energy like Saturn of discipline, hard work into this house of work and routine. It's like work, 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 work. These people are constantly working. They were raised in a way where they like you could have Saturn in the 6th house, like, growing up, you could have had lots of chores, you know, then you had to go to school, then you had homework, like constantly having that strong pressure on you. And of course, we all have routines, but when you have Saturn here, Saturn is really putting the pressure on you, you know, to do these things, you know, constantly. So it's like workaholics, lots of pressure on you to constantly keep up, you know, every day with the work that you have to do. And these people can become workaholics, you know, having this type of lifestyle where you have so much pressure every day to keep up, to work hard. It makes you a hard worker, and it gives you lots of resilience too, because you're so used to working hard. But definitely workaholics here. This is a workaholic position because Saturn is work, and so is the 6th house. So definitely be careful with that, okay? Because Also with this placement, these people are very, very career orientated, okay? So Saturn is the planet of career, okay? Your big job, your big projects, okay? The bigger picture of what you're trying to do here. So again, sixth house being this work on a daily routine basis, you're constantly having this career pressure, working on something every single day, okay? It's the fact that you're making Saturn a routine that makes it, you know, such a strong placement for work, okay? Workaholic, but also very career orientated, okay? And this is perfect for a career because, you know, with Saturn, Saturn wants you to build continuously, like you constantly put in the work. And then with this sixth house influence, making it a routine every day, it's perfect for a career-orientated person, okay? Because you're always going to be doing something every single day to build onto your career, okay? You're making Saturn a routine, okay? So definitely very career-orientated people. They're going to have this in their minds on a daily basis, okay? And the way that these people go about their career is, again, they're constantly building every day. They feel that pressure that I gotta work, I gotta do something today. What productive thing can I do today? Okay, because sixth house is already about that, okay? Sixth house is already about work, it's already about routine. But when you put Saturn here, Saturn gives that bigger picture. Saturn makes you think about the bigger project. Saturn makes you think about your career, not just your 9 to 5. So maybe, you know, with people with Saturn in the sixth house, they'll have a 9 to 5, but they're using that to work on their career, okay? You're taking your little routines, you're taking your little jobs, and you're doing that, and you're using that energy for the bigger work, the bigger project, okay? The bigger job. So this is definitely a career-orientated person and a person who can steadily work on their career on a daily basis, which is so important, okay? Because that's what Saturn needs. Saturn needs consistency, okay? Saturn doesn't give you fast success, okay? That's like Jupiter. Jupiter will, you know, give you that overnight success. But with Saturn, Saturn wants you to build it because it wants you to sustain it. You know, with Jupiter, you'll get that overnight success, but can you sustain it? Saturn wants you to sustain it. So the fact that you have it in your sixth house, it gives you that energy to sustain it because you're constantly working on this on a daily routine level, okay? You're making it a daily routine, and that's perfect, okay? Because you're building the blocks, okay? You're building the blocks, and that's perfect for Saturn. Also with this placement comes health obstacles, okay? Now, yes, these people are workaholics, okay? These people work really hard, and not only are they workaholics consistently, but like they put in the work. Like I said, Saturn puts in the pressure. So, you know, you're doing some hard work. This is some heavy lifting. But with all this heavy lifting, all this work you're doing every single day, all this energy you're putting every single day, you could tear down your body, okay? Saturn in the sixth house, I say it's important to understand how to take breaks, okay? Because you have Saturn, which is a very practical, earthy type of energy, okay, about labor and work. And then sixth house being ruled by Virgo, another earth energy, you know, can get really dry here because you're constantly working every day really hard. And it's putting a lot of pressure on your body, okay? I'm talking about even physically, okay? So the work that you can do could be very heavy. And just doing it so constantly, so consistently puts a lot of stress on your body, physically and mentally. Lots of stress here, okay? This is like some hard earth energy, kind of like grinding on each other. So sixth house dealing with your health, dealing with how you maintain your health. And Saturn putting so much pressure on you. You know, you can really wear yourself down working, you know, your A off, working, you know, yourself down. You know, so you have to relax with this placement because you can put so much stress. And the responsibilities that Saturn is putting on you and the pressures and the responsibilities you're feeling on a consistent basis, that can really be stressful for you mentally. Okay, so people like this can really break down. They can work their bodies to dirt, like really just like wear themselves out. Stress themselves out with so much responsibilities they put on themselves. So you have to know how to take breaks and calm down because this earth energy can get so, it's just so much friction. It can get really dry. You could really like get burnout, you know, with this. So you have to protect your mental and physical health here. Your mental and your physical health can really, really tear down with this placement. You could work yourself to death with this placement. So know your limits, because Saturn likes work. So it's like, you know, with the 6th house being, you know, your routines and what you're doing on a daily basis, like Saturn, you know, Saturn can just have, you know, a ball, you know, just, you know, seeing you work and take your responsibilities all the time. But it's like, you might not have the consciousness to understand, like, hey, I'm working too much, I'm doing too much, I need to take a break before I tear myself down, okay? Because like I said, Saturn likes work, so it doesn't really see anything wrong with what you're doing, okay? People with Saturn in the 6th house, they like believe that you're supposed to work 24/7. I'm just, I'm being honest, like Saturn in 6th house people, they're very like, work. So while they might be tearing their bodies down, you know, they might be getting, you know, not enough sleep and just putting so much pressure, and they think they're doing the best thing for themselves. And they are. These people are really, they have such a great work ethic. Like, these people have such a great work ethic. They're very responsible. However, you have to take a break. You really got to take a break. You really have to know how to rest with this placement, because you will stress yourself out, and you will not only stress yourself mentally, but even physically, okay? It's just like when you go to the gym, like you work out, but you have to have your rest times. You have to have your times where you take a rest and you allow your muscles to relax and grow. And by relaxing, you get to see the growth, okay? By relaxing, you give yourself enough energy to go back hard again. But if you don't, you know, you could really tear yourself down. And it's so easy with this placement to get so addicted to work, okay? So addicted to it and feel like that's what you need to do all the time. Also, with Saturn in the 6th house, I like to say that these people can have a career in literally anything, okay? Because 6th house deals with, you know, our routines and how we work and our routines, but it's also how we use our mind and how we're systematic, okay? This is ruled by Virgo, very versatile energy. This is like, you got to be flexible in the 6th house. You got to learn all different systems. You got to learn how to operate and work in life. You got to learn all these different skills. So with Saturn being here, it's like you can have a career in anything, because you not only work hard and are ambitious with that Saturn energy and have these responsibilities, but you also have that flexibility, okay? The 6th house is where we learn different skills. We learn all these different skills. It's like, it's ruled by Virgo. It's very versatile, very mutable. So there's lots of skills, lots of different things that you're able to pick up, because all you do is work. You know, as long as you put in the work, and because you're willing to put in the work, it's like you can learn anything. So I always say that with this placement, you can have a career in literally anything, because you can pick up so many different skills. You're so versatile, you're so flexible in the work that you do. 6th house doesn't discriminate. 6th house does not discriminate in terms of work. Work is work is work. You always go for what you're passionate about, and you'll understand that based on looking at your whole chart. But having Saturn in the 6th house, I know that these people are very versatile in their careers. Also with Saturn in the 6th house, Saturn can put a lot of obstacles in your daily routines. Daily life can be a challenge, especially in the beginning of life, you know, because what happens is Saturn deals with growth. So you get used to it. After a certain amount of time, you start getting used to it, and that's when you become a workaholic. And then you go on the other end, and you get to the other end, you become a workaholic. But in the beginning, especially in the beginning life, like when you're starting, you know, in your younger years, you know, you could just have lots of obstacles with everything, school, chores, work, like everything was just so hard, so much pressure on you, you know, and you gotta fall down all the time and get back up, and fall down all the time in your routines and get back up. So Saturn is putting a lot of obstacles on your daily routines, because it wants you to really focus on the details and focus on routine. And put work into your routine, put work into your work ethic. It wants to build your work ethic. So you're going to be tripping a lot. You know, you're going to be tripping a lot. You're going to be given lots of responsibilities, and you're going to be tripping on them because you have to learn. Saturn's putting that pressure on you to really build that work ethic. So definitely understand that there will be lots of obstacles and pressure on your routines. Also with Saturn in the 6th house, I say, turn your 9 to 5 into a career, or else. With Saturn in the 6th house, a lot of your jobs, your 9 to 5 jobs, you know, your daily jobs, you could deal with lots of crazy managers and bosses. Like, straight up, you know, Saturn is the manager, the boss. You could deal with a lot, and this correlates again to the pressure and the responsibility that's put into your daily routines. So with that being said, a lot of your managers, your bosses, the people you work for, are very like domineering on you, very domineering. It could be very stressful, and this is why I say at some point you're gonna have to turn your 9 to 5 into a career. You're gonna have to become a boss. Okay, because what's gonna happen is Saturn's not really trying to put all this pressure on you and have all these crazy dominating managers on you just to always be under someone. It actually wants you to overcome this. Okay, it wants you to take this pressure and overcome it. You know, so that you become a manager. You know, so I always say with Saturn 6th house, your 9 to 5 should be turned into a career. You should not be under people for too long. Especially once you start reaching your late 20s, you should be getting into management positions, being more of a boss, owning your own business, not working under people, becoming the boss, okay? Turning your 9 to 5 into a career. Because what's gonna happen is that Saturn's gonna feel like, okay, you're not really learning, you're not really turning these routines into something bigger for you. Saturn wants you to be a boss. So it's like you constantly being under people and your pressure, you gotta grow out of that. You had it in the beginning of your life to teach you work ethic, to put pressure on you, to build you. But at some point you gotta overcome that and become the boss yourself. Otherwise you're gonna feel like you're just being dominated. Okay, if you're constantly in that same level, that same position, you're not leveling up, you're gonna feel dominated. You're gonna feel like oppressed by the energy. It's not gonna feel like, you know, you're working anymore. You're working to get better anymore. It's gonna feel like you're being oppressed because you're not leveling up. Okay, you have to turn this into it. Otherwise, you're gonna feel so dominated. Become the boss. Do not always be in that role where you're constantly taking direction. You gotta eventually at some point become the boss, especially when you start reaching your late 20s into your 30s and you start really getting into the point where you can get into your career. Become the boss, okay? Become the manager. Own your own business. Be your own boss, you know. Have that eventually, because like I said, that manager energy is going to become dominating, okay? Also with Saturn in the 6th house, these people have, and I already said this, but just to even emphasize it, these people have strong resilience, okay? Their resilience is strong. These people can handle pretty much anything, okay? Because they've had so much pressure, had so much work, had so much labor to do all the time. I mean, Saturn really gives you the responsibilities, makes you a worker, physically and mentally. So the resilience here is high. These people can handle a lot. They can handle a lot of responsibilities. They can handle a lot of pressure because they had so much put onto them on a daily basis. And that makes them used to it. So their resilience for work is incredible with this placement, okay? But yeah, that's Saturn in the 6th house, you know, very resilient, very strong workers. Just be careful and to take a break because you can really dry yourselves out. Learn how to take a break and then go back into it again. Some people can explain this. I feel like some astrologers can explain this placement like it's the worst. You know, your health is out of whack. You're just done. You're stressed. This placement is for people who are very strong. Okay, Saturn doesn't give you a responsibility that you can't handle. So I hate hearing like astrologers always explain this placement like it's the worst thing in the world. Actually, Saturn loves the 6th house because it can make a resilient person out of you. Saturn likes coaching. Saturn is a coach. Think about a coach. It makes you do all the drills. It's a routine every day. You go to practice every day. You do the drills. You do the routine. Saturn loves this place. Because these people, again, they become the strongest workers. They're so resilient. They're so consistent. They're so responsible. It's a very powerful placement. It is not something to underestimate, and it's not something to explain in a way where you're just done. These people are very resilient, and they can handle a lot more responsibility than the average person. So very powerful placement, very career-orientated, very great work ethic. The work ethic with this placement is A1, okay? Strong, powerful people. So I definitely have to say that with Saturn in 6th house people, you guys have an incredible work ethic. Take a break. And I know your daily routines can feel crazy, especially in the early life, but this is here to help build you because Saturn's trying to make something great out of you. So that is Saturn in the 6th house. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you did, book a reading with me. I do astro readings, including tarot. All you gotta do is email me. We could go forward with that. Also, check out my music videos. All of that will be in the links in the description box below. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.
Feeling real turned on, want you, yes.